Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk. I am your host John, and today here on the channel we're going to be talking about one of my all-time favorite films, and we're also going to be talking about its brand new 4K Steelbook that just came out, and that little film is called 1987's Lethal Weapon. So I always like to give a film review before I give the 4K Blu-ray review, and today is no different. So if you don't want to know anything about Lethal Weapon, you're just here for that 4K review, you guys can skip ahead to that right now. So back in 1987, Richard Donner, who's a real chameleon director, I mean, this is the guy who brought us The Omen and Superman, and who would have thought that guy could direct one of the greatest buddy cop films of all time? In my opinion, it is the greatest buddy cop film of all time. We got plenty of these throughout the 1980s, but I think this is where the formula was perfected, and you bring in the guy who just knows how to write these films, Shane Black, who's the guy who gave us The Nice Guys and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. It's funny, we're talking about The Nice Guys this week here on the channel, so it's like Shane Black week here on the channel. But this one, it's the perfect buddy cop film. You bring in Danny Glover and Mel Gibson. Who would have thought these two would have had this kind of chemistry? It's perfect. I mean, the movie's called Lethal Weapon because of Riggs. We're going to have to register you as a Lethal Weapon. And there is a director's cut, which is kind of funny. I'd never seen it before this 4K Blu-ray. It had been previously released 25 years ago on home video in 2000, and I never saw it. I had seen the scenes because they are actually deleted scenes on the previously released Blu-ray, but you couldn't watch the actual director's cut on that Blu-ray. So I thought that was pretty weird that it was kind of left alone for so long until this 4K Blu-ray release. So I checked it out last night, and you know what? That director's cut, in my opinion, is not good. I see what they're going for, but it makes the movie just feel more like a movie that was released in 2000. It's focusing more on Riggs and his dark past and everything he's going through. It's his pain. You know, that's what they're trying to show us. We get an extended intro for him, which ruins the reveal of Riggs being a cop. You know, we kind of see him getting up and, you know, drinking in the morning, but we don't know he's a cop yet. Then we see him getting the cocaine, and then that's when it's revealed to us, oh, this guy's a cop, and he's fucking crazy. No, they show us, like, a scene with a sniper, and him just basically walking out in the middle of the bullets and killing the guy, mainly because, you know, he's a psycho. He doesn't care if he dies. And a cop walks by him and goes,
"You're one psycho son of a bitch, but you're good."
I'm like, oh my god, that's so on the nose. That's why they cut it. You know, they have to have another scene with Murtaugh as well, really trying to show us the difference in these two guys before they get together, you know, trying to flesh that out. The problem is they changed the score a lot, and a lot of great scenes. The scene where Murtaugh's watching the videotape that gets sent to him, you know, he's sitting there with his glasses watching it. You know, the score, it's got the big saxophone, you know, very much what this score is all about, why I love this score so much. Yes, it's cheesy, but they try and tone that down a little bit, like they knew it was cheesy, like they were embarrassed of it. You know what? All you did was take a great, delicious, cheesy sandwich, took the cheese off of it, now it's plain, and it's just like, it's fine, but I don't want it. I don't want it. Give me back the cheese. And I'm never going to watch that director's cut again. I get what they're going for, but it just ruins the flow of the movie. A lot like I've talked about Dumb and Dumber in the past. Like, I get it. You want to extend this stuff out. You want to flesh it out. Maybe this was your original vision, but, you know, you got to trust an editor. That's a big thing. I think people take editing for granted, especially nowadays. This is why we got these movies in the 1980s, why they are edited together so well, and why they're paced so well. Today, you know, we get so many 3-hour movies, and it's like, you're kind of repeating the same story beats, like you're kind of beating a dead horse. Like in this movie, we know that Riggs is crazy, we know that his wife died, we know that's the cause of all his pain. I don't need 2 more scenes to tell me that. That's why they originally edited him out back in 1987. Now, you know, this was 2000, 13 years later, they tried to put it back in. I guess it wasn't that well received, and that's why it got put back on the 4K Blu-ray, and for good reason. I appreciate what they're going for. It just does not work for me at all, and I will never go back to that director's cut. It just ruins the entire pacing of the film and takes out a lot of stuff that I personally love about Lethal Weapon, even though they're adding 7 minutes of footage. I mean, this movie has just some of the greatest lines in film history, in my opinion.
I'm too old for this shit.
That's a real badge. I'm a real cop, and this is a real fucking gun.
And I actually had to watch this in the summer now, and this does not feel like a summer film to me. This is a Christmas film, a lot like Die Hard. Yeah, it doesn't really bring up Christmas too much, but, you know, the Christmas lights are there the whole entire time. It opens on a Christmas song, and I've always watched it with the Christmas tree right next to my TV, and that's just how I like to experience Lethal Weapon. You know, when Mel Gibson says towards the end of the movie,
What do you say, Jack? Would you like a shot at the title?
I mean, I just get overwhelmed with Christmas spirit when I hear that line, and it just wasn't the same watching it in June. I mean, either way, or any way you spin it, just make sure you watch the theatrical cut. You get some incredible performances. This is obviously Mel Gibson's best film, in my opinion. Him and Danny Glover, like I said earlier, have great chemistry. We have to age Danny Glover up a little bit. You know, these two are a little bit closer in age in real life, and obviously Riggs is supposed to be like around my age. He just looks so worn out. It's got to be the smoking, because I think we're the exact same age. Like, I'm my age now, and he is this age in the movie. We don't look the same, given he has much better looking hair. But it's always funny, you know, how Murtaugh's like, he's done, he's pretty much out. He's like 40 years old in this movie, Danny Glover, but it works so well. It's just one of the greatest movies of the 1980s, one of my favorite films of all time. It led to a franchise, and I enjoy every single film in the franchise. I enjoy all of them. They're all directed by Richard Donner. In my opinion, none of them are as good as the original Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon 2 gets close. 3 and 4 are a slight step down, but man, I every year like to watch the entire thing. If I'm, you know, actually that's not true. I watch Lethal Weapon 1 and 2 every single year, but I watch Lethal Weapon 1, 2, 3, and 4 every other year. There's always been these rumors that we're going to get Lethal Weapon 5. I don't need it. It's been too long. I mean, the last one came out in the late 1990s. Now they are actually too old for this shit. Leave it alone. Lethal Weapon, it's perfect. It's perfect as it is in the theatrical cut. Even if you've never seen Lethal Weapon, I can always highly recommend the film. That's why we're here today, to talk about this brand new Warner Brothers 4K Blu-ray that just came out.
I suppose we have to register you as a lethal weapon.
And here it is, the Lethal Weapon 4K Steelbook that was rumored to be coming out at the end of April, finally got pushed to June 24th. And I said it a couple times, I'm not in love with this 4K Steelbook. I was hoping it would look better in person, and it does, because, you know, you have the matte finishing. This is glossy, so it kind of works. I get what they're going for. You know, this is the scene from the shooting range. You know, Murtaugh shot the nose while Riggs went in there and shot everything else while it was way further down, just to illustrate to us that he really is the greatest sniper out there. You know, that's what it was. Only like 7 or 8 people in the world can do what he does, and one of the other ones is apparently Gary Busey. That's why they're on the opposite sides, but they're one and the same. But I get what they're going for. On the back, we get the note that Gary Busey finds on the Christmas tree. That's pretty cool. I get what they're going for. This did come with a digital code. It's a 1-disc set. It is Warner Brothers. You can get a standard edition as well. I wasn't in love with either of them, so I already had the Steelbook pre-ordered, so that's what I went with. Can't say that I'm in love with the Steelbook, but it's fine. It's kind of what you'd expect from Warner Brothers. They don't know how to nail the artwork. I don't know what it is. They can nail almost everything else, but they cannot nail the artwork. And I would be comparing it to my previously released Blu-ray right here. And I'm not going to open up that Blu-ray because that includes all 4 films, and I absolutely hate that jigsaw puzzle of a Blu-ray release. That packaging is absolutely the worst. It's so hard to close. I've always hated it. That's why I was hoping they would give us all 4 films on 4K, but they didn't. I imagine this is kind of like last year with A Nightmare on Elm Street, where if the first one sells good, maybe the next year we'll get a complete box set. I guess it's kind of like a proof of product. If it sells well, we'll get it. But, you know, that's why I kind of went out and got it, even though I do think we'll get them later down the line. And this does feel a lot like A Nightmare on Elm Street's 4K Blu-ray release, if I'm being honest, where it's like some things are great while some things are not so great. First of all, the extras. There were no extras on the previously released Blu-ray other than the deleted scenes that are now edited into the director's cut. So you get the director's cut and you get the theatrical cut. Then there are 2 new special features, or at least they're new to me. They look like they're new because Danny Glover looks like he's like 99 in it. So I assume that these were filmed pretty recently. One's a making of 6 minutes long. Another one is looking back on Dick Donner, Richard Donner. That's 11 minutes long. And you combine them. They clearly were filmed at the same time. It'd be about 17 minutes. And to me, that's ridiculous. I appreciate them giving us all this new stuff, but, you know, we don't got an interview with Mel Gibson, probably because he's persona non grata. I'm not entirely sure what exactly happened there, but I feel like a good... I mean, I guess it's just because of my fandom for Lethal Weapon. I don't think people care about Lethal Weapon as much as I do. Like I said, this is one of my all-time favorite films, so this is the kind of movie I would have liked the Arrow Video to get their hands on and give us plenty of brand new interviews, probably give us a new documentary. You know, this is the kind of movie that deserves that, but Warner Brothers owns it, so we're only going to get a little bit of that. So those 2 new extras, while they're fine, they're just kind of meaningless because they just feel like, hey, let's put this on the disc so that they got nothing to complain about. I'm still going to complain about it because, I mean, it's Lethal Weapon, man. I'm sorry. I just love Lethal Weapon, so I wanted that. It's cool that we get the director's cut and the theatrical cut for people who want to see it. I talked about the director's cut in my film review, so if you want to hear my full thoughts on that, I'm never going to watch it again. That's the short version of that. I'm always going to watch the theatrical cut. And that's what I compared, was my previously released Blu-ray to the 4K version of the theatrical cut. I did watch the director's cut. It's in 4K. You only have the Dolby Atmos track. You don't have the original mono audio like you do for the theatrical cut. If you want to have 2 sets of audio, you have to watch it on the theatrical cut, which is cool. It's cool that this is what Warner Brothers is doing. They're giving us both options. They're giving us the Dolby Atmos track, the new Dolby Atmos track, and give us the original audio. I love that Warner Brothers is doing this. I hope they don't stop doing it. It's something that kind of separates them from the pack. I appreciate that. That's why I do feel like they're one of the better major studios when it comes to 4K Blu-ray releases. Even though they do take the lazy route in so many other ways, I can still appreciate them doing things like that. And then the visuals. This is a huge visual upgrade. We are going to get HDR10, no Dolby Vision, which lines up with what Warner Brothers usually does. Usually they only give us HDR10. They've given us Dolby Vision a few times in the past, depending on the film. Like I said, I don't think they view Lethal Weapon on the same grounds of as like the Clint Eastwood 4K Blu-rays that came out earlier this year that got like the full treatment. This kind of feels like a step down, like I said, in the extras especially. And then, of course, in the audio department, they did give us everything. But to give us, you know, just HDR, it kind of hurts a little bit. Stings just a little bit because we might have had a little bit wider range of colors. But either way, the visuals are a huge upgrade from the previous release Blu-ray, which not a great Blu-ray, to be honest with you. It also was cropped. You know, the original aspect ratio is 1.85. This 4K Blu-ray will return it to 1.85. They were like 1.77 or 1.78, depending on what Blu-ray you had. You know, those ones are just so soft looking. They were too warm. You know, scenes just didn't look great, so it could be overly grainy, and this 4K Blu-ray fixes all of that. It was actually to the point where I was so used to the Blu-ray, because I do watch this every single year at least once, you know, around Christmas time every year. So I've seen this Blu-ray for so long, I wasn't used to the 4K, and then, you know, they changed the color temperature a little bit, cooled it off a little bit, and it's very, very noticeable. And I wasn't sure if I liked it at first, but when you compare them, it's like, yeah, it's night and day. The 4K Blu-ray improves everything that the Blu-ray had going on, even though I do think some scenes on the 4K Blu-ray can be a little bit oversaturated. To see where they show up to the jumper, you know, when the car pulls up, I love the reflection, but then I'm like, it's a little bit too colorful. I would have like kind of toned it back a little bit, but you know, that's me kind of nitpicking, because overall it's a stunning 4K Blu-ray. It's nothing compared to like those Clint Eastwood 4K Blu-rays that came out earlier this year. Like, you know, those are like 10 out of 10 visual quality. This is still like an 8.5, 9 out of 10. It still has a little bit of flaws in certain scenes, but I mean, Lethal Weapon has never looked better. This is the kind of treatment I want given to the entire franchise. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. You know, there's some stuff I would change. This isn't something that I would have in mind for one of my favorite films. I would like this to get the full boutique level treatment. You know, this is a Warner Brothers property. They're not going to let this one go. It's Lethal Weapon. It still makes money for them, even though they kind of treat it like it's a secondhand citizen at points. It's still a moneymaker for them. They're never going to let the rights of this go to like a studio like Arrow Video, who I know would just give us a kick-ass fat box of this, and I would absolutely love it. It's just not going to happen, so we got to take what we got, and overall, it's still a pretty good 4K Blu-ray. It's just nothing that's going to blow your socks off. It's something that's pretty good. You'll be happy that you upgraded from those previously released Blu-rays, because again, not good, don't hold up very well. So I think you'll be happy, but it's going to come down to, are you a Lethal Weapon fan? Because not everybody is, and I understand that. So as long as you are, I think you're going to be very happy with this 4K Blu-ray. Priced pretty fair on Groove for about $30 for the Steelbook or $25 for the standard edition. Even if the artwork isn't great, I can recommend it. I would give this one a pretty solid 8 out of 10. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it here for me on another episode of Let's Talk. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and if you did, don't forget to like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, don't forget to share the video. We also have channel memberships, guys, so if you want to become a friend of the channel, a producer for the channel like Ben Rondo and John Doe Juggalo, you could do that. Or you could even become a channel director like Frank from Frank's Media and Reviews, Kevin Kruger, Uncle V, and Nicholas Head, or you could even become a channel bankroll member like Mr. Smelly Potato. But of course, if you got no money to throw away, guys, don't worry about it all. All I hope is that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, get out in those streets, tell your friends about us, and then we'll be seeing you around.